way. But there's also, I put on my metrics glasses, all my analytics glasses for all those nerds out there.
The Thomas Bryant jockstrap, get him out of here!
How does that not indicate to you, like, hey, sometimes, like, these prospects are awesome?
Donald, get back! They snatched that chain, boy. Get back! What's all gonna do about it? Popeye snatched that chain. Get back! We want that snack wrap. They got 3 flavors. Y'all got 1. Get back!
Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factory here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by our great friends over at FanDuel. I'm Ryan Tyler. He's Jack O'Rourke. He's Nick Padone. He is Rob Watson. Today's Wednesday, December 10th, fellas. Hard to believe Christmas just a couple weeks away. Will we get a early Christmas present? Another Browns victory this season? Doubtful, but we will see. A lot to talk about today, fellas. But before we do, how are we, Jack? I see you're wearing the Morgan Wallen hat.
Yeah, honestly,
on Jack's case, by the way. There's a little hypocrisy going on.
Oh, is this what we were just talking about before?
I mean,
I would love to address. Can I address it?
We're gonna ruin a
can I address
potential
it?
sponsorship.
No, don't
here,
say don't say the name of the venue, but
Okay.
you can describe it.
Okay, so there theoretically is a.
He's about to give it away in 2 sentences.
No. There's a Western themed bar. There's multiple of those in Cleveland, Ohio.
That's good.
And it's a place that typically I hate. You know, like I'm not a big country music fan outside of a few artists. So like I can't, like if I don't know the songs, I'm kind of just like standing there. I prefer the vibe when they turn off the live music and there's just like they play every type of music. You can just dance, whatever.
GG.
Not a fan of said venue. One of my very good friends' girlfriends tagged me in a Instagram thingy that was like, win a free table, free drinks for this venue for New Year's Eve. And I had previously, within 2 to 3 days, business days prior of having had this interaction, I went on a rant to Rob and his girlfriend, Jordan, about how much I hate said venue. And then...
To which we agreed.
To which they agreed. However, I'm not above free drinks. I'm not above having a good time, maybe a table sponsored by said venue. And I threw my hat in the ring as well in said comment section and included Rob and Jordan. And I think Jordan is now very upset with me for going against my laurels on said venue. But that's my 1A take of the day. So it's
actually makes it like I hadn't heard the whole story. The fact that like
don't waste my
it
time
worse.
Complaining to me all day about it before to then spin around and say you want to go there.
That makes it worse, especially because like, you're publicly like what is it like
a 15-minute rant. And we're like, yeah, bro, we don't like this place either. Like, wouldn't want to spend a second of my day there, bro.
2 minutes.
And then now
rant.
you're like you're publicly supporting said venue by pandering for a free section.
That's when I will support said venue. That is correct.
Says a lot about his character. Says a lot about him.
And I would have sat out the bowl game too. So
let's get into the show.
All right. Well, we
but
start.
What I was gonna say though, when you asked how my day was, is very excited for if anyone wants to link up Steak and Shake, Steelyard, Walmart, 12:30.
Crohn's disease stocks up 2%. Skyrizi, all that
Humira
stuff.
stock. The
Burke Lakefront Airport bathrooms say a prayer for Tony.
We just made Tony's day worse. All right, let's really get into it.
All right, well, that's it for our show. Let's talk some actual sports now. We start with Kevin Stefanski.
Sports now.
According to NFL insider Albert Breer on the MMQB NFL podcast, he says Kevin Stefanski could potentially welcome a departure from the Cleveland Browns this off-season. Quote, if you're Kevin and you're making all of these decisions for football reasons, you've made a lot of other decisions over the years for football reasons, and they're constantly second-guessed. Everything turns into a circus. Would you be sick of it? Breer goes on to explain the success of Shedeur Sanders. Makes Stefanski look bad as a 6-year head coach prefers to develop the 5th rounder off the field. We know that whole saga. Quote, with Paul DePodesta gone and no plan to replace him, is this a natural point for them to evaluate everything, that of course being the Browns? Breer asks, quote, has this just become, you know what, this hasn't worked out for either one of us over the last couple of years, so maybe it's just time. Nick, I'll start with you. You buying this? Kevin Stefanski would welcome an exit from Cleveland after this season.
I don't think Albert Breer just pulled that out of thin air. So I think he probably got that from somewhere. And, you know, it is his opinion, but I'm sure that opinion is an informed one if he's going to take it to his podcast like that and was kind of, you know, speaking pretty matter of fact about the situation. Just when you look at, the last 6 years, it's tough to have a working relationship when you've been through that much. Like the decision to move off of Baker for Deshaun and then that not working, but then watching Baker become at least a serviceable franchise quarterback somewhere else is just salt in the wound. And then, the debacle that happened this season with the 2 rookie quarterbacks and Joe Flacco getting traded. Like, I think it has just probably been a lot. So yeah, I subscribe to Albert Breer probably has some sort of inside dope, if you will, that Kevin Stefanski probably wouldn't mind a change of scenery, especially if he's thought in these league circles as highly as we're led on to believe. Like in the podcast, he mentions the New York Giants as a fit. We heard Dan Orlovsky mention that as well. So it seems like maybe the Giants could be in on Kevin if he's let go from the Browns, if not as a head coach, certainly as a coordinator. So yeah, I definitely think that everybody, nationally is going to kind of come to this same realization, especially over the next 4 weeks when you look at how difficult these games are probably going to be.
Yeah. I think just looking at it too, it really comes back to the Joe Flacco trade, week 4, week 5, whenever that came out. Like that was the coup de grace for Kevin Stefanski's time in Cleveland. Like when you either don't know about the change that's happening or you seemingly definitely don't agree with it, you roll out Dylan next. That doesn't go well. Clearly he was wrong, at least to some extent, about Shedeur. I have seen the argument out there, like maybe he needed those extra 3 or 4 weeks to ramp up to come out and do what he did. I don't know. I wasn't watching Shedeur Sanders practice every day, so I can't sit here and tell you and that I know one way or another. But the writing's been on the wall, and you see it in college football a lot. But like when it's clear it's not working, the best thing to do is just break it off as soon as possible. I understand it doesn't really make sense week 14 or 15 of the year, like what the hell you can do for the last 3 weeks, but it's done. And just like the way that when Lane Kiffin's time was done, they were like, yeah, get the hell out of here, even if you won us these games this year. Like when it's not working and both sides are not motivated to reach whatever the pinnacle is, you gotta sever ties.
If it's one of those things where he's like on the fence, he's as good as gone. Like it doesn't. You don't want a guy that's half in, half out. And if he needs help making that decision, I'll be the first person. He won't need Uber or anything. I'll drive him to the airport. I'll transport cars across the country.
Learn how to fly
he's got to go. I'll pack his bags. I'll book the flights. I'll do anything he needs. Like if Kevin needs anyone to help him make this as smooth as possible, I'll be the first one to make sure he is out of Cleveland and out of Ohio, literally as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, if there's reports that he's thinking about it, decisions already made. Like you do not want a guy that's not fully committed to the job. And if that's what's happening, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I don't think Albert Breer is going to go out and like make this thing if he's not really thinking about it. So if we're already at this point and there's 4 games left in the season, Browns are going to get a new head coach. But we all knew that already.
Maybe he'll resign and do the "you can't fire me, I quit."
I mean, good.
I do think like
good for him.
Like this is
that's kind of on brand for him, from what I've kind of been.
No, because this report certainly is a primer for like. Maybe it isn't Black Monday, maybe it's like Tuesday or Wednesday that week. And it's just that, owner Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski met mutually decided to part ways. Like it could be something along those lines. So I do think that this story is a little bit of a primer. Like, because like you don't. Here's the thing about this though, right? Like even if Kevin, say he is, like for a minute, let's all just park what we as Browns fans think about Kevin Stefanski. And if he is as highly sought after in league circles as what we're led on to believe by all these national insiders, Kevin would want to move on, right? Like you could go to a franchise in New York that has Jackson Dart. You could go, there's only 2 openings right now, but there's going to be plenty more. You could go to Tennessee. I personally think that would be a mistake, but you have at least got Cam Ward, and then you're going to have another premium draft pick to fix that defense and all of that stuff. So if we park our current thoughts about Kevin Stefanski and say he has all of this interest, then yeah, you probably would want a fresh start somewhere else, especially when you factor in like you owe Jerry Jeudy all this money, you owe Deshaun Watson all this money. I saw yesterday like Dalvin Tomlinson cost like $18 million against the cap next year.
Got to keep kicking. Jack Conklin costs money.
all those
Jack
contracts
are going to cost money for a decade.
Yeah, like you got to pay the piper eventually. So yeah, maybe
we
Kevin
maxed out a
would
credit
be.
card for 5 years, and we thought nothing was ever going to happen.
Yeah, maybe he would be open to it.
Losing certainly takes a toll on you. Like And everybody makes a joke. Look at the president before and after when he goes in office, when he does, and all the gray and the beard. I mean, the same thing for Kevin Stefanski. Like, yeah, we're not a big, and this doesn't really apply to football, more so baseball. Like being a less of a market than a New York. Like Cleveland cares about their football, right? Like Kevin Stefanski, as a head coach, whether it's right or wrong, is the fall guy. He's the one that's manning the ship. Now you can debate whether or not he gets the short end of the stick in some situations. He always goes up there, takes the blame, really no matter what it is, and I think that's a good quality to have as a coach. But when the losing is stacked with it, it does kind of get to a point where you're just so sick of hearing the coach speak, right? Wouldn't shock me though if Kevin Stefanski immediately gets another job. I mean, how many coaches have we sat here and said, "Wow, he's getting hired as a head coach again"? I mean, the Raiders just hired Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
for Pete's
I don't
sake.
think
All
it's
pun
that
intended.
shocking that he'll get another.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
if he cycled through bad this time, I think that's when it is. But I think for as much as I know Rob's gonna freak out at me for saying this, like 2-time coach of the year, like there's gonna be some market out there for him because you're gonna have it. Well, Atlanta will probably come open. What else?
No, so I listened to Albert Breer talk about just that point. You are right. Like, even if it's not this offseason, it will be next. Like, look at what happened with Todd Bowles. Like, he was on the Jets. It was a disaster. But everybody really liked Todd Bowles for whatever reason. People in the league were still in on Todd Bowles. And they looked at, he spent 4 years with the Jets. The best season he ever had was 10 wins. And then he was off of a head coach job for 1 season. And then, boom, lands in Tampa. And now he's one of the more respected head coaches in the league, and they're actually having success. So I think like Kevin could probably have that same thing happen, where similar to Todd Bowles, everybody just looked at that, where it's like, oh, well, that's Woody Johnson. Like, of course he failed in his 4 years with the Jets, where people would look at Stefanski and be like, yeah, Jimmy Haslam, of course he failed over 6 seasons for the Browns, so we're going to give him an opportunity. I don't think that matters. Like, I think we're wasting so much time talking about like the fear of him going and becoming a head coach somewhere else, just because it's never really happened to us before. Like, of all the coaches that Haslam was quick to hire, quick to fire, nobody else has really ever went and scorched us somewhere else. Like Freddie Kitchens, there were people knocking down his door to interview him to get a head coaching job. Even like Cornell, and that was a little bit controversial. That was even before Haslam owned the team. Like, he didn't really go have much success outside of Cleveland. So this is the one where like everybody's just a little bit scared because you don't want Kevin to turn into one of these coaches like what we had him in here. It's not working, and it's difficult to identify a path where even if you keep him, that you can get it to work here.
Right.
It's also, I mean, like Bill Belichick left our city and won 6 Super Bowls, so who gives a shit if Kevin leaves and wins 1 or 2?
Ravens fired him.
Kyle
Ravens fired Bill
Shanahan
Belichick
worked for us.
And here's the
before.
thing, here's the thing, even if he does go work out somewhere, okay, that doesn't mean it was going to work here. Like we talk about
He's reached
these
his
quarterback
peak, man.
reclamation projects have been such a hot topic of the NFL just the past couple of years. Okay, Kevin Stefanski, a coach reclamation project, goes to another franchise where maybe he works better. I don't know if that's a word, with a different GM, a different owner, and it works. He's a reclamation coach. Like it wouldn't have worked here regardless. So kind of trying to fight that inevitable, what it feels like at least inevitable departure with Kevin Stefanski might all be for nothing.
It's like any
Gotta
other
leave room
occupation.
for
It's like you
nuance,
could
man.
suck at your job and get fired or quit and go somewhere else, and you could be. I'm talking about bad. Where you're on performance enhancing programs and HR's at your neck, and you get fired, and then you could go somewhere else and reclaim your career. It's just like anything. It really is.
Context to any situation. Maybe he ends up just being an OC eventually somewhere else, and now he has that Josh McDaniels thing where he keeps failing as a head coach, but he's a good OC. Who knows?
Which
But
I
obviously,
heard, by the way.
it's clear. It's just
talking
not
about
gonna work
retread
here.
coaches.
Josh McDaniels. To
Somebody's
the Cleveland
gonna do
Browns.
it. Not to the Browns.
Josh McDaniel?
Not to the Browns.
My
But
whole
somebody.
thing-
Hell no.
Somebody's gonna do it. It might not be this year.
Didn't you have a weird thing one year where he like accepted a coaching job, then rescinded it with Denver? Maybe
Denver.
Like you can't mess around with people who do stuff
Well,
like
then
he's
he
a
went
Carroll
to-
guy, so I can't get
And
too on
then he
him.
went to
but-
Vegas, and Vegas was just
disaster.
A disaster.
People were celebrating when he left, and what's his face took over.
Rich Bisaccia.
Didn't Gruden take over after him, or was he after Gruden?
I think he was after.
He was
Gruden.
after Gruden.
Hey, nasty work out
Yeah,
there.
The Raiders
Speaking of
stink.
retread coaches,
The Raiders stink.
The Raiders do stink. Well, something that doesn't stink, in fact, is very good, is garage beer. Garage
Yes,
beer
it
comes
is.
in just 2 flavors, classic light lager as well as that classic line. No frills, no bitterness, none of that IPA taste. It's just beer the way you want beer to taste. That is beer-flavored beer. So scan that QR code now or go give their website a visit, drinkgaragebeer.com, to find local retailers who sell garage beer near you. Again, that is drinkgaragebeer.com. Well, Albert Breer said that perhaps Shedeur Sanders playing well isn't the best look for one Kevin Stefanski. Now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. We know he almost got us a victory, but had a good day nonetheless. 23 for 42, 364 yards, responsible for 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Wow. According to NFL senior researcher, gonna get this name wrong, Dante Koplowitz-Fleming, Sanders and
Sounds
Bengals
right,
quarterback
yeah.
Joe Burrow, only rookie quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era to record 350-plus passing yards and 1 rushing touchdown, as well as 3 passing touchdowns in 1 game. Sanders also became the first Browns quarterback with a 300-plus passing yard, 3 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown game since 1950. We have proof of concept. Can he string along these starts? That's to be seen, but we now have proof that he's capable of doing it on any given Sunday. So my question to you guys is, 1, was Shedeur Sanders misevaluated by the Cleveland Browns? Did they really think he was that unready? Because it looks like he's a little bit ready to me. Or was this a case of, well, he's reaping the benefits of them holding him back this whole time?
You know, I'm going to give the Browns a break here, and I want to be fair because they are the team that selected him. Because if they would have let him go to the Eagles or the Ravens, like the reports are out there, we would have never seen Shedeur this year play meaningful games. Like, now, obviously, would have played a little bit. Lamar was hurt. Jalen Hurts hasn't been hurt yet, but like, we just wouldn't have seen Shedeur in a serious moment. Now we do get to see Shedeur in a serious moment. So I'll give the Browns their credit there. The one thing that I just can't get behind is we wasted 5 weeks in the middle of the season, in the soft part of the schedule, when you were supposed to win some of those games, and we were completely wasting our time with Dylan Gabriel. Like, you could have won that Vikings game if you had a better quarterback and a better coach. You could have won that Jets game if you had a better quarterback and a better coach. So there's 2 more wins on the schedule right there. It's frustrating to me because you wasted 5 weeks of a season that you only play 17 games. Like, that's a big chunk of it. This isn't the NBA where you could try stuff out on a night in, night out basis. If you lose a couple, it's like, yeah, whatever. We were trying something out. It's not the MLB where you could experiment with, we're going to, lengthen the rotation, or we're going to really let the bullpen turn loose in this gap of weeks here in the middle of the year. This is the National Football League where each and every one of these games, especially in Cleveland, are really their own season. Like, each week in the NFL is kind of its own mini season that you get ready for. So it's so frustrating to me because Shedeur always should have been ahead of Dylan Gabriel. Anybody with 2 eyes, whether you were in the media, whether you were a fan that scanned your ticket to get into training camp, you could see he was the better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. I just don't know what they wasted an entire season of having a Super Bowl caliber defense because they had to justify to themselves overdrafting a kid that was physically limited, physically overmatched in every single game that he played in the top 100. That's ultimately the story of this season to me.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the optimist in me wants to give them the benefit of the doubt, like you, Nick. But I think you also mentioned, like, hey, like with the Ravens and Eagles, how do we know if he would have gotten any playing time? If it was up to Kevin Stefanski, how do we know if he would have gotten any playing time? Like, the report comes out like he wanted him to be a redshirt quarterback. Like, it sounds like their plan wasn't to see him. Like, do you guys have any way of knowing if he would have gotten out there if Dylan doesn't get conked?
Nah. I mean, the
Right?
bottom line is, to answer his question directly, they 100% misevaluated him because Dylan Gabriel was above him on their board. It's that simple. If they drafted Dylan Gabriel before him, yes, he was misevaluated. He was placed QB4 on the depth chart. I haven't seen, the only person I've seen put up stats comparable was Joe Flacco, but once he left the team to what he just did this Sunday. So I'm not going to go back and say we would have won some of those games because we found a way to lose the game where he just put up incredible stats. But I will say we would be much further along in this discussion if we didn't waste those 5 weeks with Dylan Gabriel, that where we would really know what we have in Shedeur, we would have gotten to see 5. We would have been in like 8, 9 games by now. So we would have gotten to see way more. It would be a very clear picture versus trying to force it into the last 4 weeks to where you still may have an incomplete answer by the end of the season as to what you want to do at quarterback next season. And that's just quite frankly on them. I mean, you've seen what he could do now. No one could understand why Dylan ever played or why you ever thought that might be the case. So you wasted prime parts of the season, prime games where you could have learned a lot more about a quarterback. So now you're going to be rushing to see, and whether I think Shedeur could play great these next couple of weeks, and people are still going to have questions, and to some, rightfully so. And that's on the Browns for not giving him the amount of time when you knew that was the only person that had potential to be an NFL starting quarterback the length of the season to figure out what you needed. And so, yeah, misevaluation, mishandle, failure, all that. So if we're confused going into the offseason, you can only look at them and how they chose to handle this year.
You know, regardless of the reason or the real reason why Shedeur Sanders played so well, whether he was ready, you know, the Browns are going to flip it to being, well, he played so well because he waited, because he learned from behind guys like Joe Flacco for the first couple of weeks, because he saw Dylan Gabriel's struggles, was able to kind of turn them on ahead and not do the same ones. At least that's what the Browns are going to say. You know, Rob, you brought up an interesting point of these last 4 games. I was initially going to ask, you know, is this a big enough sample? But one, I don't think it is, at least in terms for the Browns to not take a quarterback or at least have the questions. But, you know, how well does Shedeur have to play to kind of shake that 5th-round label? And what I mean by that is because whether or not Shedeur fans want to admit he was a 5th-round pick, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. His talent not being that is a fine question, but he was a 5th-round pick. You know, you look at like Brock Purdy. There were still so many weeks where as good as he was, even people in the 49ers organization, the fans, they were questioning like, he's a 5th-round or 7th-round pick. In that case, like, can he really be a franchise quarterback? Because we haven't really seen that outside of Tom Brady. Like, can Shedeur shake that 5th-round label for the Cleveland Browns? Everybody.
Oh, not by the end of this year. No, he could play exactly how he played this week, every week for the rest of the year, and there's still going to be people, and especially him, like he's going to have his detractors and haters no matter what. But even to that, like you said, with Tom Brady, he went and won a Super Bowl, and the question was still the next year, was he just a game manager? Right. Like, what do you so? No, and like I said, that's on the team. You could have seen more, and we could have seen it throughout a year, a longer period of time, because now people say, you caught lightning in the bottle at the end of the season. Like, what will it look like when teams have a whole offseason and they know you're the guy, and they're looking for you, and they're preparing for you? The same people on the other side can say, what will he look like when he has a whole offseason to be in the scheme, to be the guy and get that the connection with his receivers and all that. So it's like I said, it's going to be an incomplete answer no matter what, and they're just going to have to like go off their gut feeling, and you know someone's going to have to make a judgment call. Are we going with this kid or are we not? Because let's be real, he's probably not going to throw for 350 every week. But I'm telling you, even if he did, some people would still be justified to have questions. So I think he's just going to keep getting better every week like he's already shown us. But no answer is going to be fully solved because you tried to play 3 different quarterbacks in 1 year to see what you had with all of them. And at one point, it seemed like the plan was to play 4.
Ryan, and I want to hit you with like a counter argument to your whole devil's advocate, like he needed to sit thing, because I'm sure that's how this is getting ready to be spun. And I've already seen a little bit of it. Like, you know, these people that are like,
that's what the Browns would do.
Yeah, like these people that are like, oh, you're telling me he didn't develop behind the scenes. And it's like, well, here's the thing. The preseason, when they were telling us that he needed all this development stuff, they were telling us that like the offense that he ran in Colorado to this Kevin Stefanski's offense is like speaking English to learning Mandarin. And they were saying that it was like the operational stuff is what Shedeur was struggling with.
They talked about that
getting
Rams
in and out of the huddle
for like 3 years.
But here's the thing. I didn't see any operational issues with Shedeur Sanders, even in that first preseason game that he played against Carolina. Like, there were no pre-snap penalties.
The same
there was
amount
no
of false starts and illegal shifts, but that's on other players.
It looked worse with Dylan.
Yeah, like he's able to get in and out of the huddle. They were treating him like he was some sort of football imbecile. And the thing that is, you know, not developable at all, and you could talk to ex-quarterbacks, you could talk to ex-coaches, and they'll tell you this, like, when you're an accurate passer, that's one of those things, you're either an accurate passer or you're not. So, like, he has still got that same laser-sharp accuracy that he had at Colorado. So, like, sure, maybe Dylan understood some of Stefanski's lingo a little bit better than Shedeur Sanders did because he just played college football forever. But are we really prioritizing that? Because if so, that's even more alarming than what they're trying to what they're trying to feed me. What? Because the guy can repeat plays?
Call a spade a spade.
Put a wristband. Put a wristband. I don't care if he can't read English. Put a wristband on him and let him go out there and sling it.
Just like
I'm
they
desperate.
tried to sell that Shedeur
slants.
wasn't smart enough. They think we're all stupid too, and we'll just buy that. So I mean, there's no point in getting worked up about it. We all know that there's he was getting 0 reps. He was doing the same workouts he was probably doing at home, getting ready for the draft the whole time, and he just got to watch some film. He did it all on his own. There was nothing behind him, and then they put him out there, and he achieved. They wanted so badly for the next game, the Raiders game, to look just as bad as the Ravens game did, and it just simply didn't, and he's just simply continued to get better. And as he continues to do that, people are going to have to keep giving him credit for that, and it'll just call into question everything that happened before, as it should. And like Ryan said, they're going to say, oh, well, I mean, we worked with him. He got better. You know, all those reps with the practice squad players over there got him together. But no, as you saw when he first got out there, the game speed was super fast, and he's just been adjusting as his own. All he's learned has been from those 3 games he's played.
Yeah, like
they're gonna just talk to us like we're stupid, but you can't get caught up on that because they do that all the time because they think they're the smartest people, and that's why everyone's sick of this regime.
Yeah, like miss me with that though, because like this is still the same accurate quarterback that I thought could have been a first-round draft pick. Like he still has those same
that's
elite
the whole
physical
NFL,
traits.
though. He
And
went
then
in the
if they
5th
want to
round.
serve me all of this developmental stuff, then okay, let riddle me this on developmental stuff. Why was Dylan Gabriel that ass when he was taking reps with the first team when Joe Flacco was the starting quarterback? But he knows the lingo. So if they have this developmental secret sauce, the kid that had the upper leg, he couldn't even look as good as the guy that didn't. It's all BS. They're serving up BS.
Eventually, you have to step on the field and the ball gets snapped.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what's going on up here. You could it's that simple, bro. And everyone.
Say how dumb that draft pick was the millisecond it happened.
It
like,
was.
When the name came across the screen.
I don't remember who you two wanted, but I know me and Ryan were on Shedeur at number 2 for like the whole offseason. So I mean, and there's analysts, there's everyone who said that. So I mean, if there was a point that we thought that, I'm not just gonna sit here and because whatever happened with the pre-draft process, we'll figure it all out one day, probably by the time he's done playing football, or if he becomes settled somewhere and he gets to speak out because he's become that guy. But it's clear he wasn't a 5th-round talent. So, I mean, he was a 5th-round player. He had a 5th-round situation, but he's not a 5th-round talent. Dylan Gabriel was a 5th-round talent who got overdrafted. Shedeur is probably a 1st, 2nd-round talent that got underdrafted. And that's just really what it is. That's where we are now, and we've seen it play out on the football field.
That's what I wanted to ask you guys real quick before we head to something else. Like, obviously, Shedeur isn't probably not a 5th-round graded quarterback.
No.
I don't think he got blackballed either. I do think there's a real thing that happens in football.
Find out how
and
that
Makes you
process.
really wonder what went on.
We'll figure it all out
I
one
think
day.
no one wants to make the first, like, if he gets passed on a certain amount of times, I think no one wants to make, like,
Right.
I think it's a combination of that. I think it's a combination of him being a very, very confident young man who's quite frankly different than all the quarterbacks in the NFL outside of like maybe. Well, I think he's different than like the Lamars.
Like Cam Ward,
What do you guys think was like the highest individual team grade?
No, but I know
for
what
him,
you're
though?
saying. Like,
But Shedeur's a little more out there than Cam
he
Ward
is.
even. But, so that's going to make teams uncomfortable. Then you think of celebrity. He's quite literally like the most popular player in the NFL. You're thinking a lot of teams are thinking he's going to be my backup. Why would I want that as my backup quarterback? So a whole bunch of stuff. Like, all that could go into it. He slides to where he does. But the talent was never an issue. That's one thing that everyone just has to admit. Everyone said he's an accurate quarterback. He's had arm talent. That's what it is.
Where do you guys think, like, what do you think the individual, like, team by team of the 32 highest round grade was of him on draft day?
I don't know.
Shedeur?
I think a lot of teams
Yeah.
probably just had him, like, evidently, a lot of teams probably just had him off their board in its entirety.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, they
just
decided
not
they were going to
interested.
go a different direction. Especially the Giants. That's another team where it could have, but they ended up deciding on Dart.
Like, even if you liked him
Not
as like
every
a
team-
prospect, to Rob's point, like, I think a lot.
How many teams needed a quarterback
Do you guys
last
want to
year?
know what I think happened? I think that he went into those meetings, and I think because so when you have an agent,
Be careful here.
I'm gonna tell it how it is. When you have an agent, these people subscribe to certain services that can give you like a serious ballpark of where you're going to be drafted. Like it's very seldom a surprise when a guy gets drafted. Like for example, Jamari Thrash. Like, let's throw out a random player. He knew that he was going to be anywhere from a 3rd-round pick to a 6th-round pick. He knew for sure it wasn't going to be the 1st round, and he knew for sure it wasn't going to be the 7th round. He knew to be by his phone in that range because agents subscribe to certain services that give you an actual inside track on not what Pro Football Focus is saying, not what Mel Kiper is saying, but what's actually being said in NFL rooms. And Shedeur doesn't have an agent. So I think he was misguided because of some of the hype that he orchestrated with his dad and his family that he was going to be a 1st-round pick. I think he genuinely believed that he was going to be a 1st-round pick. And I think he went into meetings and said, I want to play for this organization and I don't want to play for this organization. We have proof of that. Like, he told Baltimore flat out, I don't want to play here. So when you lead with that, I think it's going to scare off a lot of teams. And the other thing is these teams all talk. So who'd Baltimore talk to about Shedeur Sanders that said this kid came in here and said he didn't want to play here because we have Lamar Jackson? season. Well, then they, it's a game of telephone. Then they tell somebody, oh, Shedeur's got a bad character because he told Baltimore he's not interested in going there, completely leaving out he didn't want to go there because they have Lamar Jackson and he wants to compete and he would rather be in a situation where he could play. And it turned into a game of telephone where he didn't get an opportunity to play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll say
Or get
this.
drafted in the first round, and then like teams, and I think it happened to Rob's point. Even if you were interested in him as a second round draft pick, you're probably not drafting that ilk of celebrity to be a backup quarterback because look at the fanfare that's followed this season. You would only have drafted Shedeur if you thought he could become a franchise quarterback, which the Browns obviously ended up with, whether they wanted to or not. They were the team that ended up doing it. So it does make sense to me how it happened, and I'm grateful that it was to the Browns in the 5th round because I see how special this can all be. It's just fascinating that, like, people still think there's some sort of wider conspiracy at play or that he, was this absolute monster in these meetings. Like, I don't think it was any of that. I really think it was just a game of telephone gone wrong because he didn't want to play for a couple teams that already had a franchise quarterback. He didn't want to just sit around and be a backup forever.
I'll say this, especially after watching that Eagles-Chargers game. Eagles were one of the teams linked to Shedeur Sanders in the draft. For watching what Jalen Hurts did on that primetime game, I seriously bet you the Eagles wish they had Shedeur Sanders in the room right now.
Could we
Watch them keep building.
Can we start a dialogue on the whole Jalen Hurts thing?
He stinks.
He's bad.
He's
holding them back.
I mean,
I could
Baker-
talk
He's
about
currently
this.
holding them back.
Baker Mayfield
Could
went
talk
from
about this for an
MVP
hour.
discussions to playing like a bottom QB in the league.
Yeah.
That's also
Jalen
happened.
Hurts. I watched Jalen Hurts with my own 2 eyes outduel Patrick Mahomes on the biggest stage in football twice. Not once, twice. Yes, he lost once, but he played way better than Mahomes twice. And now he looks like a bottom 20 quarterback.
He's like completely like it's like that movie. You guys ever see the movie where Kevin Durant like gets his powers taken away from him? That happened to Jalen Hurts.
Oh, man. Well, I think we can all agree that the best solution for the Cleveland Browns financially and for our future is Shedeur Sanders good. He works out as our franchise quarterback.
Yes,
He's on a
sir.
cheap rookie deal, and we can keep building an offense around Shedeur Sanders. Well, that all starts in the NFL draft, guys. Field Yates unveiled his 2.0 mock draft updated from his first version. He did in August. Let's react to it. Number 1, the New York Giants. Well, they have a quarterback.
Arbel Reese.
They invested in an edge rushing position in Abdul Carter last year.
Tackle.
So Field Yates has the New York Giants trading back to number 7. The New York Jets trade up to number 1. The Jets
Fernando Mendoza.
part ways with 2 first-rounders and a day 2 pick to move up to number 1. And with that pick, maybe the most quarterback-needy team in the NFL, maybe even more than the Cleveland Browns is the New York Jets. They select the FBS leader in passing touchdowns with 33. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall to the New York Jets.
Expected, low
Congrats,
key.
Fernando.
If this was the draft order, that would be expected. Like, I would expect that to happen.
Number 2, we stay with the quarterback position. The Las Vegas Raiders, after less than a season of signing and extending Geno Smith, they're looking for a new signal caller as they sit at 2-11, perhaps a new head coach too. Soon they will part ways with Pete Carroll. Dante Moore, quarterback, Oregon. True freshman in UCLA, transfers to Oregon, sits behind Dylan Gabriel, breaks out this season. Not official, he'll declare for the draft, but if he does, Field Yates has him going number 2 to the Las Vegas Raiders.
See, that's my whole point. I bet Dante Moore's got an agent right now, and they're talking to teams trying to figure out where you're gonna go. Like if it was the same deal with Drew Aller last year, and he got his report back and said, "Ruh-roh, not a guaranteed lock in the first round. I'm going back to Penn State." Ultimately, that was the wrong decision.
That was a double rut row.
Yeah.
Double run. Number 3, the Tennessee Titans, who just beat our Cleveland Browns,
Gotta
sitting at
be
2-11. Well,
This
they
is a new
got
weapon.
a quarterback in Cam Ward. They go Arvel Reese, our first
good
non-quarterback
player.
and
Good
defensive
pick.
player off
Good
the board,
pick.
edge linebacker from Ohio State. That leads us to number 4, our Cleveland Browns, 3-10. Couple of good offensive tackles on the board.
A little irony that 4th pick, even it's number 4 that got you in this situation.
And Field Yates in his 2.0 mock draft has a 3-10 Cleveland Browns at number 4, selecting wide receiver from Ohio State, Carnell Tate. Field writes, the Browns will likely have conversations about the quarterback position, but Shedeur Sanders' growth in 3 games as a starter has been encouraging, and in this scenario, the 2 clear-cut best signal callers in my rankings are off the board, but the Browns also have work to do within the offensive supporting class that includes offensive tackle and wide receiver. Carnell Tate, number 4 to the Cleveland Browns, first wide receiver off of the board going to our Cleveland Browns. Rob, does that make you hungry?
I would like to see it. I did tell you a little bit pre-show that I think Tate at 4 is a tiny bit of a reach. So I think in this scenario, we would be trying to move back a couple spots because I think, truthfully, in the first round with the first pick, it's going to be a receiver, and I think they're looking at Tate or Tyson. So they're going to be talking to people to see where they could be to get the most resources to move back to possibly get a couple more top 100 picks, but still get one of those dudes off the board. But if we stay pat and we take Carnell Tate, I would be very happy. He's been a receiver I've been high on literally since like week 2 or 3 when we were leading the league in drops, when we literally couldn't pay a receiver to hold on to the football. I would love to see him play. I think he's a super smooth route runner. He's been doing absolute work out there in Ohio State. He's been having like arguably a better season than Jeremiah Smith this year to some people, but pro-ready receiver would be a number 1 guy for us, a weapon we sorely need.
You know, last time the Cleveland Browns took an Ohio State player at number 4 overall in the NFL draft?
Denzel
Ward. I would say that turned out to be a pretty damn good pick for Cleveland, so we'll see if Carnell Tate is.
We got another first-round pick, though, Ryan.
Dude,
We
if
do.
Carnell Tate could be the wide receiver version of what Denzel Ward's been, that's a beautiful
Give you 9
first-round
years,
pick. Yeah.
We could run through some of these other ones pretty quickly. New Orleans Saints at number 5. They go Francis Moyoga, offensive tackle, Miami.
Where's
Washington
Jeremiah
Commanders.
Love
They go
going?
David Bailey, edge, Texas
You knew I
Tech.
was waiting for it.
Giants at number 7. They pair Jordan Tyson with Malik Neighbors.
Oh my gosh, that's
second wide
disgusting.
receiver off of the board.
So there's our litmus right there, and this is early, obviously tremendously early in the draft process to be talking about this. But in a scenario where you're the Browns and you want a receiver and you want to trade back, 4 and 6, the top 2 receivers already off the board in this fall.
Yep. Number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. They go offensive tackle, Spencer Fanau. And the number 9 pick, which for some good God reason belongs to the Los Angeles Rams after acquiring Atlanta's first from last year's draft trade.
Tyson.
The rich get richer. The Los Angeles Rams, perhaps a Super Bowl favorite with a top 5 defense, select maybe the best player in the
Caleb
draft.
Downs?
Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State.
That's kinda
That'd be a
nasty.
great
Traveling
pick
out
for them.
west, I'm telling you, the rich get richer, man. When I saw that pick, that was a scary sight. Cincinnati Bengals, they take Reuben Bain, edge Miami. Couple of corners,
Miami.
another edge, they go. This is the interesting one. Kansas City Chiefs, Jeremiah Love. I believe last first-round running back they took. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that didn't really work out.
They need playmakers, though. Like, the Chiefs do need
Jeremiah
playmakers.
Love, Clyde Edwards-Helaire comp?
No, I'm not copying that at all.
Yeah, but they're
I'm just saying that's the last
undersized.
first-round running back selection for the Chiefs. Number 15, another Ohio State player off of the board.
Sonny
Sonny
Styles?
Styles, linebacker, goes to the Cowboys.
Dog.
Detroit Lions, 17, they take a tackle. Couple more cornerbacks go back. The Pittsburgh Steelers, number 20, they take a wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon from USC.
Oh, that made me
I mean, is
sick.
Ty
I like his
Simpson
game
off
a
the
lot.
board yet?
Not yet. Buffalo
that could've
Bills,
been- he
they
could be a
elect
Steeler.
to go another wide receiver, Denzel Boston. Cleveland Browns, number 27 in this mock draft. They already went wide receiver at number 4 with Carnell Tate. Number 27, the selection is offensive tackle from Alabama, Caden Proctor.
Bama tackle?
Little PTSD there from Jedrick Wills. The write-up from Field. When evaluating options for the Browns at number 4, it came down to wide receiver or offensive tackle. This pick would check off both boxes. They took Tate earlier, as I mentioned. Yes, some scouts aren't convinced that Proctor will hold up against twitchy NFL edge rushers, but there are no doubts about his experience. 3 years at starting for Alabama Crimson Tide left tackle and overwhelming power in the running game. After allowing 9 sacks as a true freshman, he surrendered just 4 over the past 2 seasons. Cleveland has cycled through multiple options at left tackle because of injuries this season. Are we too scarred from a Jedrick Wills first-round draft selection at tackle at
Yes,
Alabama?
and I'm scarred by that description because I'm kind of sick of us having these tackles that just can't keep up with anyone who's a speed rusher.
Yeah,
off
and
the
he's
edge, 'cause
and Caden Proctor's a project, and I have no
that's
faith that
much
we develop.
more of what I feel like the game. And I'm just
Especially if Bill's not here.
Yeah, I can't stand it. Like there's nothing worse. Like the dude when he's got to run through you, at least you're still in the way. When you got some of these guys we've had that can't even get out of their stance before people are in our backfield, I don't want to see it. So that's why I'm high on Caleb Lomu out of Utah right now. That's one of the guys they're talking about. He needs to work on his strength, but his technique and his quickness and just being able to stop guys off the edge. I like that a lot more right now.
Is there any tackles that are drafted after Caden Proctor in this from Field or no? Is he the last first round at
He's
26?
the last first round at 27.
Did Lomu go off the board in the first?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's better.
All right,
He's
that-
he's
We
gonna
need the
keep
Jags
rising.
start losing, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do.
We really do.
They're
Like,
looking
they got, like-
I don't want Proctor,
Which they're
bro.
so
You got,
fake. I'm
you could
sorry.
Get, you could get either of the Utah tackles, probably.
Spencer for now.
Yeah, or Lomu. And then where did the Miami kid go? Who can't really run block, but he's like the size of Shaq.
yeah, Ryan, they're doing this
Francis?
too, just
Yeah,
to
where's he
add
at?
salt in their wound when they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
I also
Like, just start.
I like
losing
the
some games,
Oregon
Jags.
tackle as well.
Your tackle-
Isaiah World.
Your tackles in order. Number 5, Francis Mayoga from Miami goes to the New Orleans
top 10
Saints.
pick.
Spencer
He's a
for
big
now.
man.
So
He
unless
goes
you want to
number
use
8
your
to the
first pick on
Cardinals.
him.
And then I'm not sure there were any more offensive tackles. So it appears, Caleb Lomu, Utah, to the Detroit Lions. So he has Caleb Proctor being
10.
the
It's
fourth,
a W.
the,
pick.
the fourth offensive tackle being selected in this draft at number 27. Ending out the
Do
first
you go
round.
line first?
We better get comfortable
No.
with Caden Proctor.
I would rather get World.
Me too.
I'd rather get World, but Proctor, I'm just not buying.
Speaking
it
of
right
Shaq, he actually is Shaq size.
Well,
Yeah.
number 31, the Los Angeles Rams, their true pick in this NFL mock draft. This is where it happens.
Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama, goes to the Rams, sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year. An unpolished, polished, but an unexperienced quarterback gets to sit behind Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay for a year. I think I'd like that if I was the Los Angeles Rams. And rounding out the number 32 pick in the first round NFL draft, Denver Broncos elect to go wide receiver Chris Bell out of Louisville.
I feel like we got to go wide receiver first. There's a lot of guys, and you just got to get them first. But in that world where we do go tackle first, Jacoby Lane in the second round would be my bailout. pick for
That's
the
what I'm
Browns.
saying. Goes. I feel like you're more apt to find a number 2 receiver through the first 2 rounds. Whereas like I think like tackles, like they always say, like once you get past like the first 2 rounds of the draft, like 3 to 7, you're just guessing on size and stuff like that. It's like I'd rather like get one of the kids that we know about rather than go with the project than hit on one of the 7 receivers in the draft after.
Yeah, but that's just not something we've done ever. So I'd rather take one of the top 2 guys.
All right,
for the
in
first
this
time in our life.
iteration, I just fired up Pro Football Network Mock Draft Simulator.
right.
Okay, so we've heard Field Yates. Now you get Nick Padone.
Oh boy.
Reuben Bain Jr. goes 1 to New York Giants. At 2, the Las Vegas Raiders stay with Geno Smith and draft Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. At 3, Tennessee decides to get Cam Ward, a receiver, and goes with Arizona State's Jordan Tyson.
Tackle.
What do you do it for?
And you go tackle if those 2 are off.
You
But
go
I'm getting phone calls as the Dallas Cowboys
what are
want to
they?
trade in this spot for 15 and 28 overall. You'd have 3 first-round picks.
Oh.
Or the Saints want into this spot for number 5 overall and a 2027 first-round pick.
Back 1 spot, another pick, absolutely, right?
3 this year or for 1 next year. I'm low-key taking the Cowboys deal. 3 first this year in this round versus getting a first next year.
Ryan, what say you?
That was way too much mental math. I couldn't keep up.
Well, the
So-
Caps, we're gonna have to
I would
keep
need to see
replacing.
the
You could
board.
trade.
It's
You
good
could
to spread
trade
out the
down
first-round
one
picks, 'cause
spot
we're
to
fucked by the
get
cap
the
for a
5th
decade.
this year and the Saints first next year, or you could trade down to 15 and get an extra first. So you'd have 3 first-round picks.
I got
this
to
year.
imagine the
I
Saints
do that
are
so I
the
can draft
Saints are
CJ Carr.
the Saints are going to give me
Yeah, there's a fucking smart guy.
The
Finally.
Saints are giving me the Saints are going for Fernando Mendoza, right? So I'm gonna take the Saints offer.
I like that.
I'm on record saying
They
taking
drafted
3.
Ty Simpson.
I'm taking 3 first this year.
Troy Eastwood said Andrew Berry blinking through moist laser eyes as he trades Stefanski to New York for a 5th.
What if he somehow got him for a 3rd and it ended up being like it made up for Dylan?
All right, now at 5,
Let's take a tackle.
I'm getting 3 offers now. The Jets want in for 7 and 47. That does nothing for me.
But we have an extra first next year.
The
now.
we already have an extra first. The Cowboys want in for 15 and 28.
Wait, hear me
So
out.
we got both.
Hear me out. In that situation,
Laser eye.
Nick,
Laser eyes,
Nick,
Nick
in that
Padone.
situation with the Cowboys trade where I'd have 3 firsts,
Yeah.
and what would my picks be then?
You would have 15, 27,
27,
and 28. That's a
I'd rather
no-brainer.
have, like,
And a first-round
5.
pick next year.
I would do. Could you imagine this? Probably
We
won't
were
happen,
offered that last pick, and you just blinked at it like it was nothing.
Yeah, but we got a first round pick next year now.
And what if? But if I could get, let's Caden Proctor, a Chris Bell, a Denzel Boston, if they fall in the late first, and if what at 15 you could just fuck around and get Caleb Downs.
All right, let's find out.
Let's see what happens. We take the Cowboys.
All right, so
Running
we are not
scram.
only out of the top 5,
We are
not
in the-
only out of the top
we are in
10,
the 15.
we're at 15.
Is Cardinal Tate? I mean, is Caleb Downs obviously off the board? right?
Caden Tyson went.
So Caleb Downs went 8 to Arizona. Arvell Reese is who Dallas traded in for, so they
Bucket draft
replaced.
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love went 13 to Baltimore. Peter Woods, defensive tackle, Clemson. And at 15, the Cleveland Browns select.
Who we got here?
We can get Fano here.
Fano and
We
Love.
can get Francis Mago here.
Ooh,
Let's
either
get a
of them.
tackle. Let's get. Wait, the Miami kid's on the board?
Miami kids
I
on the
mean,
board.
I
Fernando
think
Mendoza's
Francis.
on the board.
Is Arch Manning on the board?
Give me Francis. Man.
I don't think they have Arch Manning in this.
I lean Francis Fano here for the Falcons.
Do we trade down one more
I
time?
like going with one of the tackles. I like a tackle here.
All right, we're taking Francis Mago, tackle, Miami, Florida.
Mountain.
All right, with Jacksonville's pick, Fernando Mendoza still on the board.
The draft day
What if he
fall.
goes
Is
to
he
the
Will
last round?
Levis? Is he Will
Does
Levis?
Mendoza get
So
blackballed?
our top receivers on the board are Denzel Boston out of Washington.
Where's
Ty
is
Lemon
Lemon
go?
on the board?
Lemon's gone.
Dang.
Ooh. Is
Is
Jacoby
Lane
Lane
still
gone?
there?
Is Jacoby Lane gone?
He's not a first
Gone.
round pick though. He went first. Jacoby Lane? What?
So what? We're looking at Denzel Boston and
Denzel Boston, Jermaine Bernard. Oh, here's
I thought
Jacoby
you
Lane.
said Jermaine Burton. I was
I
like, no.
I lied. Jacoby Lane is still here.
Because he's
Oh,
a
we're
second.
fine
He's a
then,
second
yeah.
rounder.
Yeah,
That's
we're
why
fine.
We would wait on.
All right, but we've got back-to-back picks here in the first round. We're on the clock.
This is because we're going with another
Trade
tackle
one of
and a
them.
receiver.
Keep this one.
What other tackles are on the board? We
Wow,
we
go
could fix
back-to-back
both.
tackles. Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson.
Don't know him.
Solid.
Lance Hurd, offensive tackle, Tennessee. Austin Sierveld from Ohio State.
Yeah,
no,
we're chilling. We're chilling. We're chilling.
yeah, but what do we do? We need to make a pick.
We gotta take
Corner.
a receiver.
We need a corner eventually.
We gotta take a receiver. Here.
Down the line.
Jay saying trade down again.
I'm saying
Trading down out of getting any talent on the team. Cleveland Browns bangers.
I'm saying, Jack, is there anything you need to get off your chest about the Cleveland Guardians as winter meetings are upon us?
No, I'm cool. I don't really have a ton of thoughts. I think the more general was just to look at the Kyle Schwarber offers by the Pirates and the Reds. I don't know if you guys caught these all, Nick. I know you saw these through the winter meetings, but I think it's going to be an obsolete offseason for the Guardians. I don't think you're going to see much of anything happen. I think they look at maybe bringing in another left-handed reliever, maybe a righty. I don't ultimately think they're going to end up making a trade with one of the younger guys. Like I suggested trading Kafis earlier in the offseason to go get an outfield bat. But I don't know. I mean, the market's set now with Schwarber getting not just 5 years, but 30 mil AAV. So that just about rules out whatever the hell you thought about whoever was left on the board in terms of bringing a power bat to Cleveland. But shout out to the Reds and Pirates for throwing their names in the hat. I think the Pirates threw a nice little 4-year, $110 million. They never had a chance of signing him, but at least they can, when the MLBPA comes around this time and goes, hey, you guys don't sign players, that's not okay. At least now they can be like, we tried.
Fair enough. All right. Nick, what do you say we tell everybody about FanDuel, unveil our parlay, and we get the hell out of here?
Yeah, guys, you know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is truly a game changer, because with FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. If the score just flipped, you could jump on a new spread or a live money line. If a wide receiver is heating up, bet that next touchdown score or their total yards. Think a drive is going to stall in the red zone. That's pretty common for the Browns. You could bet on a live field goal prop or just fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all right there on FanDuel. It's fast, it's fun, and with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel is going to put you in the middle of every single moment. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet the NFL live with us all season long. Got to be 21 plus, present in select states. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Jack, you know what to do.
All right, let's do it, baby. We're starting out a little bit NBA Cup, right? This is NBA Cup.
NBA
action?
Cup
Wow.
Western Conference.
Wow, the Western Conference NBA Cup matchup. The Spurs, money list, heading into LA to take on the Lakers. Lakers money line, and we're running that with LeBron James to have a
Hey, did you see
double-double.
LeBron's 10-plus point streak in the United States still stands?
Still stands.
Oh, is he in Canada?
Yeah.
He's in
For that,
Canada.
okay, that's huge. We know we're getting 10 from one place. Blocks, steals, assists, something. You got to figure it out.
American soil, baby.
Yeah, here we go. America. And then Artemi Panarin, the Breadman, to register 3 shots on net tonight for the Rangers as they travel into the Windy City, head of the United Center to take on the Blackhawks. Last but not least, we love a good over. We love some 3-pointers. We love some 2s. We love basketballs going in the hoop. Over 225.5 points tonight between the Suns and the Thunder. Once again, Lakers money line, LeBron to have a double-double, the Breadman to put 3 shots on net, and over 225.5 Suns Thunder.
Well, you heard it here first. Appreciate everybody tuning into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel.
Anything funny?
Really, just that one.
We fell off.
Appreciate everybody tuning in to the Big Factor. We'll be back tomorrow, same people, same time. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.